Thanks, Crystal, and hello, everyone. As Crystal shared, my name is Helen Dombalis, and I have the privilege of serving as Executive Director of the National Farm to School Network. I'm honored and humbled that so many of you are joining today live for our movement meeting, Food Justice as Racial Justice. I think that's a testament to the importance of this work, to the importance of the moment that we're in, and to the strength of the movement that we've been building. I want to spend the next few minutes sharing with you along this theme of food justice as racial justice, the work that the National Farm to School Network has been doing for the last 2 years towards our next strategic plan. We engaged in a systems mapping process because we looked at our mission and we looked at our vision, and we realized that while we have been around since 2007 for more than a decade now, that there was work still to be done in order to achieve our vision for farm to school programs to contribute and serve as an essential component of local and just food systems. And it's that just part, that justice piece, that's what kept catching us over the last 2 years as we were working on a systems mapping process. Systems mapping is what it sounds like. It's about mapping out the system, and it's figuring out what our piece of it is and how we're going to contribute to our big goal, our call to action, if you will. We kept coming back to the fact that our food system is exploitative, it's oppressive, it's racist. And as many of you have heard and many of you yourselves have said, it is not that our food system is broken. Our food system is working exactly as it was designed to work. From stolen land, from indigenous peoples, to Africans being enslaved, to today's farm workers and people all across the food system in low wage positions being predominantly people of color. All of this was designed this way. And so as we went through our strategic planning process, we kept coming back to the fact that we are not going to achieve that vision if we don't target the exact reason that our vision needs to exist in the first place. And that's the need for a racially just food system. So the call to action that we are presenting today is a call for all of us. It's a call for us at the National Farm to School Network. It's a call for you all as advocates, as activists, as people. And that call to action is that by 2025, 100% of communities will hold power in a racially just food system. That's a lot. It's bold. It's big. And it's going to take all of us. So I want to break that down for you now into the components that explain how we arrived at that, and then talk about how we're inviting all of you to join us in working towards that call to action. So the way systems mapping works is lots and lots of input. As I shared, this has been more than 2 years in the making. Interviews, surveys, one-on-one conversations, group conversations with stakeholders, with members, with allies, and with folks that we've been wanting to, quite frankly, bring into the movement that may not, for example, understand the connection yet between the food system and the education sector, or the food system and the health sector. So through all of that, the formula for systems mapping says that you set a date, a by when. And so as I share with you, that date is 2025. Yes, it is almost the end of 2020. It's been a hard year. And that means that we have not even 5 years to go. But the reason we set a 5-year plan, as opposed to, let's say, by 2030, a decade goal, a moonshot goal by the end of the decade, is because there's urgency in this work. And the call to action has to match what's needed. And what's needed is urgency. Secondly, in systems mapping, you set a percentage. And as you heard, and as I'm sharing with you now, that percentage is 100%. We kept coming back and playing around with what the current statistics are, on farm to school participation or penetration of farm to school, if you will. And as you'll hear from our board chair in a moment, he so poignantly earlier this summer said, if you don't have 100%, that means someone is left out. And so our goal, our call to action is 100%, because no one should be left out. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. So we've got by 2025, 100%. And the next part of the formula is who. So we've got the by when, that percentage, and then who. And we arrived at communities. Because as you all know, as advocates in food systems work, everybody eats or has the human right to eat. And not just to eat, but to be nourished. And ultimately, communities, kids, families, farmers, parents, all people are included in that. So rather than it being focused on children or on farmers or both of those, we're focusing on communities, which encompass all of those. That's the beauty of farm to school. That's the beauty of community food systems, is recognizing that from farm to table, everyone has a role to play. And then finally, it's about holding power in a racially just food system. And that's big as a white-led, currently majority white organization to talk about shifting power. I know that, we know that. But I also know that it's why I personally do this work, why I found my way to food systems advocacy. And I know it's the vision of the National Farm to School Network. And we cannot, as I said earlier, achieve our vision for a just food system if we do not address the fact that right now there are power imbalances. And it's been set up that way, and we're not going to fix it unless we recognize that it was set up that way, and we have to work to change how it was structured and set up. It's systemic, and right now, the people who hold power are making it so that we have a food system that benefits some at the expense of others. So our call to action is about shifting power. It's about saying that those that are impacted, that are feeding us on a daily basis, don't have the power, and they need to. And it's about a racially just food system. And we are specific here. It's about justice. Yes, there's the need for environmental justice, climate justice, health justice. But ultimately, what we kept coming back to over these last 2 years is the fact that our current system is so unjust because it was built on, as I said earlier, exploitation, oppression, and racism. And it will continue to be that way for farmers and producers, for farm workers and laborers, for folks who work in aggregation and processing and distribution, who work in our schools and all types of institutions, who work in our stores and retail, and who consume food. It's going to continue to be this way unless we tackle that root. No one, because of the color of their skin, should be impacted by an unhealthy food system. That's what's happening right now, and that's why our call to action is to change that. So I'm asking you to join us. We know that this call to action is going to take a lot of people, and it's going to take a lot of work. And at the National Farm to School Network, we are willing to do our part. Our part is farm to school. We know, and the research shows this, that farm to school has tremendous potential to shift economic systems through local purchasing. It has the ability to shift education. It's about raising a future generation of eaters who are going to know about how the food system's been designed. They're going to ask the questions. They're going to be the policymakers, the activists who are going to speak up and say this is not okay. So Farm to School is absolutely contributing. It has already, it will continue to do so as we get more and more intentional about shifting power. But it's going to take other organizations, you all working in your missions with your visions too, to collectively come together. That's what a movement is about. That's what achieving a mission is about. It's not about one person, it's about the collective. Every person in this country should have access and the ability to eat nutritious food that's good for people and it's good for planet. And so we're calling on you to work in your roles, in your places, and to join us in this call to action. Thank you to everyone who's contributed to getting us this far, and thank you to everyone that will work together to take us into this next phase. 2020, as you all know, has been a hard year. It's illuminated what so many of us already knew, that these racial inequities run deep. They were built very intentionally this way, and it's going to take work to undo them, to build things in a different way, through policies, through systems change. But again, that's movement building. And we need that momentum from everyone committed to this, to shifting power towards that racially just food system. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you.